My name is Heather Carey. Today's recording is over the prior written notice. A prior written notice is a procedural safeguard under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act that is protection for parents. It's a written explanation of a change that the school district or AEA wants to make or refuses to make in a child's IEP. It's important that parents understand what the school plans or plans not to do for their student or their child. A PWN must give parents the information they need within a reasonable time after an IEP meeting is held to allow for parents to actively participate in making decisions about their child's educational program and services. Prior written notice is an important tool for parents as it allows for them to disagree with a proposed or refused action. So a PWN should be provided to parents after a proposed change has been discussed as a team at an IEP meeting and before any changes are made. So that prior means before the changes are made. Parents may ask for written notice if the school tells them of changes they plan to make through a phone call, a meeting, an email, or a conversation. A PWN is always completed before any changes are made. Under IDEA, schools are only required to provide parents with a PWN in 4 situations. Proposes to make changes in the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of a child. Refuses to make changes in the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of a child. Proposes to make a change to how a child is being provided FAPE, refuses to make a change in how the child is being provided FAPE. 7 things must be included in a PWN according to IDEA. A description of the action proposed or refused by the school or AEA, an explanation of why the school proposes or refuses to take the action, a description of each evaluation procedure, assessment, or report used to make that decision, a statement telling that parents of a child with a disability have protections under the procedural safeguards, and that's automatically populated on there, and how parents can get a copy of those safeguards, sources for parents to get help understanding those provisions or procedural safeguards, a description of other options, and we can no longer say no other options were considered because there's always other options. A description of other factors important to the school's proposal. All letters or notices schools send must be written in the parent's native language. So a PWN, if they speak Spanish, needs to be translated. If they speak and a different language, it always needs to be translated. If parents' native written language or communication mode is not available, the school must take steps to verbally translate the notice for the parents. If parents do not understand the notice, they should keep asking questions until they do, because it is very important that these are changes being made to the child's evaluation and placement. So what is the implementation date and why is it important? The implementation date indicates the date that the proposed or refused actions will begin taking place. The implementation date on the PWN should allow reasonable reasonable time for parents to review the proposed or refused actions. There's no exact date, but best practice considered 5 to 10 business days. It can depend on the situation, so just really get to know your parents. If the implementation date has passed or is the same date that parents receive the written notice, make sure that you document that. Parents may consider a request to the IEP team that the date be extended to allow reasonable time for consideration. Again, mark that as well. A parent's signature on the PWN is not required for changes to go into effect. That's why we have the date. What if parents disagree with what is being proposed or refused? If parents disagree with what is being proposed or refused, they could appeal the decision through one of the dispute resolution options through the procedural safeguards manual. They have the right to stay put, which is what is in the IEP would stay put. The child's status during proceedings is a provision under IDEA that prevents changes during this time. Unless the school district and the parent agree, stay put is a requirement that the child remain in the current educational placement until the dispute is resolved. Stay put is automatically invoked when a parent files either a due process complaint or a request for state mediation. Some ways that a parent can advocate to ensure that the PWN is provided with the necessary documentation and in reasonable time that allows parents to consider what is being proposed or refused. Prior to the end of the IEP meeting, parents can request that the team collectively review all the proposals and refusals made during the IEP meeting. This will help to make sure that all members of the team are in agreement about what is being proposed and refused. I just usually take notes in a Google Doc or on the IEP itself so that I can go back and put them within the PWN. Parents can also ask who will be writing the PWN, and typically it's a special education teacher, or if it's a reevaluation, it's the consultant, and when they can expect to receive the PWN. As a consultant, I always let them know when and how they'll receive the PWN. If they're going to receive the PWN via email, you need to make sure that that is marked or documented within the IEP system or Achieve system. So here's a sample. So here you see all of this information at the top comes from their school's SOS system, or however they get their student information, their SIS system. You have the protections under the procedural safeguards, and you have to make sure that you review that. You give parents a copy of that yearly. And then here would be the information that you use in the development of the prior written notice. So this would be just an annual IEP, and so they put that information. Some examples: the school is proposing that XXX current level of performance, baseline, and target value be updated on his or her reading goal. This includes an update to the goal regarding target value and number of instructional weeks to obtain it. The school is proposing this action because they've met their previous target value goal. To continue with progressions, the school should be updated to show their current level of performance and target value increased. Other options: the reading goal could have remained the same, however, has shown growth in this area, and team members, including XXX DAT, agreed updating the goal was appropriate. Another option would have been that they could have gotten rid of the goal, but they still require specially designed instruction. So that's just another option. You want to put as many options that are relevant. So that other factor, I would say that students still require specially designed instruction. That's what I would recommend to put there. So that is all I have for that, except for Northwest AEA has a really nice PWN review tool. So you want to make sure to check with your AEA to see if they have this handy dandy PWN tool. So like here, you just want to make sure that the description of each evaluation procedure is marked and it aligns with the proposed or refused action. Refused actions are stated as a refusal rather than a proposal to maintain status quo. Service minutes changes are documented. Example, reading goal will change from 3rd grade to 4th grade. You want to be specific, like this one was not. It's best to be specific rather than updated goals. The school is proposing or refusing this action because, make sure it's clear. Other options, and then state why. Are there other factors? Yes, response requires a description of the relevant factors. There should always be a yes. You should always be able to think of why. Parents provided notice of action on. Our AEA likes that we provide within 2 days. And then this action will be implemented on within 3 to 10 business days. And then the contact person, the prior written notice completed on at least 3 days and less than 10 days, and then sent within 2 days. So this is just a really good tool. You must complete a prior written notice associated with every single IEP. There's a modal that you'll be introduced to when you get your teaching license. If you don't complete one, you'll probably get an error report stating you need to complete one. You must finalize the roll call for the associated IEP meeting. So all those people will have input on that prior written notice. I hope this helps. I know the PWN is one of the most confusing things for most people. If you have questions, reach out to your mentor, to your AEA representative. I hope this video helps. Thank you.